Okay, you guys, welcome back to Icewater Yoga. My name is Amanda, and today we're going to be doing a fun full body class. It'll be for all levels, but I'll give you guys some options if you want something a little bit more challenging. And I'm kind of thinking that we focus on the glutes and the hips because this is going to be a little story. So hold on for a second. One time when I was in 7th grade, I was on stage for like some sort of play. God knows what kind of play it was. And I remember hearing whispers from, it was like a dress rehearsal, people in the crowd being like, oh my gosh, Amanda's butt. And I was like, in 7th grade, you're horrified. You're like, oh, my butt? Because my butt was big, okay? So that like scarred me for life. And for a while, I was really self-conscious about like my entire low body area. And so the reason that I'm even telling you this is because I want us to get really comfortable with all parts of our body. And I think that like working on specific areas, not only does it like build your physical confidence, but it also helps to build muscle. It helps to work the places that you want to love or that you're learning to love. And so even moments of like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened when I was like in 7th grade, they can become like actually fun learning opportunities. And so I kind of want you guys to think about that at home. Like, was there a moment where you became maybe self-conscious of your body? Or was there a moment where you were like, I now doubt myself for something, even if it was small? And can you bring that moment? I know this is weird, bear with me. Can you bring that moment to class today? And so as we move through all of our postures, as we sort of work on different flows, you're kind of saying like a big, hey, F you to that moment. So it's like, I'm showing up here fully as myself, as yourself, to have some fun and to be fully in your body, right? That's all that yoga is about, is being fully 100% present and in love with the body that you have. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to move, we're going to have fun. And let's see, where should we get started? Let's lay on our backs. Yeah? Okay. Lay all the way down on your backs. Feet nice and wide. We'll start in Shavasana, aka yoga nap time. And put your palms facing up and maybe your eyes closed. So I want you to let the energy of your body, maybe the energy of the room, sort of dial down. Meaning you let your body get super still. There's no need to really do anything just yet. No specific type of breathing. Just let yourself go inward, doing this little scan of how you feel from head to toe. And then maybe how you feel on an emotional level too. How did you show up on your mat today? What are the places, the parts of yourself that might need a little extra love? And then can you make a commitment as we move to showing those specific places all of the love, all of the care, all of the attention in the world? So as we move, it's beyond something physical. There's intention behind it, intention, a meaning or a purpose for why you move. So once you have that in mind, let's take one of those big full body yawns as you stretch your arms up and out overhead. Maybe dip, bow into the low back for a moment, really stretch. And then as you exhale, just draw your left knee into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze and flex both feet. Flex hard like you're driving through the heel. And as you squeeze that left shin into your body, kind of hugging into the left rib cage, pull down and in, nice and tight. And then half happy baby. So right hand comes to your hip, left hand to the outer corner of the left foot, elbow inside knee, and it's that pulling down action again. Can you get the left thigh to hug into the left rib cage? And then slowly start to release that. Just draw your left knee across the body and jog the hips a little bit so you find a spinal twist. And as you breathe out, focus on your left shoulder. Every exhale, letting that shoulder blade soften down towards the earth. So we find this really nice, deep cross-body stretch. Nice, and then come back through center, hug both knees into the chest, and then switch. Left leg goes long, right knee into the chest. Again, fingers interlace right below the kneecap. We find that squeeze down and in. And then half happy baby. So just the right side. We grab the corner of our right foot, pull down. And so the trick really is keeping left side body just as equally weighted. Good, and then bring your knee back into the chest and draw it across the body. Same spinal twist, other side. Now focusing on the right shoulder. Every exhale, that shoulder drops down towards the ground. Send the tail down towards the heels. So we find that stretch. Nice, and then we start to come down center. Hug your knees into the chest and find a couple of rolls forward and back, until you roll over the shins and then come into tabletop. Right? Figure four, shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. Couple cat-cows. As you breathe in, let the belly dip. Let the heart pull forward. As you exhale, upper back to the sky, head to the ground. Do that a couple more times. Maybe you add a little sway of the hips from side to side. I want these movements to be more intuitive for you than really to even be or look like yoga poses. So you might look more like a little snake, kind of like wriggling around. I just want you to open up the spine, open up the chest. So maybe a couple more movements like that just to wake the body up. Then come into this neutral shape. So go ahead and extend your right hand forward. A lot of weight into that left palm, feel the grounding. And then left foot starts to float. Good, and from here, I want you to flare your right elbow so it comes into a cactus shape, right? Goalpost. Do the same thing with the left leg. So the knee kind of juts out from the hip and the foot is an extension of the knee, 90-degree angle, right? Take an inhale, exhale, straighten, right? So from internal to external rotation. Inhale, pull open, knee in line with hip. Exhale, straighten, one more time. Kind of funky. Kind of think of like a frog leg, if that makes a little bit of sense. Good, and then as you release, tabletop, left hand forward, right foot back. Spread all 5 fingers on that right hand. Then same thing, flare the elbow, flaring action of the knee. So kind of like a dog on a fire hydrant. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, open up. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, open up, foot flex the whole time. Last one. And open, straighten, and release. Good, now we come down onto the forearms and allow them to be parallel. If you need to, you can interlace the fingers here. But a little bit more challenge, keep them nice and straight. And then float your left foot to the sky. So first, keep it long so you can square the hips. And I want you to flex the foot, bend the knee. And then we're going to take a couple of pulses up. So you're leading with the heel, right? As you do that, the work is to keep hips squared. A lot of weight equal in the elbows, right? Full surface area of the forearms, but a little bit more weight into the elbows. And keep those pulses going. So working the low glute. Keep the chest pulling forward. Keep the breath fluid. Last 3, 2, 1, extend the leg long and set it down. Okay, same, other side. Right foot floats up. Again, we keep the legs straight just for a moment so that we can, and you'll see it on this side, square the hips. And flex the foot, bend the knee. Gaze down towards your mat, and then we start these pulses again. Now the trick here too is feel your left outer hip. So the one that's still married to the ground, can you firm that hip inward? So that you're not leaning into it. And keep those pulses going. Go up a little higher than you want to until you feel that little catch, right, at the base of your seat. Keep going for 3, 2, 1. Extend the leg, knee down, come back up into tabletop. Okay, from here, tuck the toes. Lift the knees, just an inch. So you're gonna feel this in the upper arms. I definitely am. But can you hold, and can you hold the pose, but not let it get into your face? So forehead soft, jaw soft, belly in towards spine. Spine long, take one more inhale. And downward facing dog on your exhale. Find some pedals of your feet, a little movement, whatever you need to kind of stretch out the backs of the legs, and then find yourself in a state of stillness. Right, so once you get that stuff out of the way, what does your dog look like? Clean it up, heels behind the toes. You'll feel the inner thighs kind of spin backwards. And then can you pull a ton of length out of your spine? So as you press the earth away, it kind of lifts the hips up, almost like you could add an extra inch in between each piece of your spine. Right? So physically impossible, but imagine that could happen. What would that feel like? Then from here, walk your left foot in maybe like an inch or two and bring your right foot to the sky. Then as you exhale, right knee comes to the right tricep. Now, if that's too much, you can bring it to the elbow. Maybe it doesn't touch completely. That's okay. But I want you to hold here. Point the toe. 3, 2, 1. Knee to nose, head drops. Hold here for 3, 2. Step the foot up on 1. Back knee comes down. And then from here, I want you to drop a lot of weight into that right heel. So you're stretching the left so as both arms come to the sky. Take a big breath in. And then as you exhale, flare the elbows, that same action. Lift through the center of the chest. Good, inhale back to the sky. And then as you exhale, both hands down inside of the right foot. So from here, bring your forearms down to the mat. Now, if that's too much, stay on your palms. But lizard pose. Right, so we're working the inner hip right now. Inner and outer. As you melt that right knee back in towards your armpit, you're going to feel that a little bit more. Keep pulling your spine long. Good. And then slowly come back on up. Tuck the left toes under, plank pose. Lower all the way down to your belly. Good. Now from here, I want you to interlace your hands at the back of your head, the crown, or the base, sorry. And then elbows come nice and wide. As you breathe in, lift the chest, keep the elbows wide. Exhale, release. We're going to do that 2 more times. Your toes stay on the ground. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Last one. Breathe in, lift the chest. Elbows almost lifting beyond your head. So they're working away from the ground. Good. And then release. Now interlace your hands to the low back. As you draw knuckles towards heels, lift everything. Lift chest, lift feet. Squeeze the butt just a little bit. Touch the big toes together. Take one more inhale. Pull nice and long. As you exhale, release. Plant the hands at your floating ribs and tuck your toes under. As the knees squeeze, press up through plank back to downward facing dog, and our left foot lifts. Bring left knee to the left elbow. Pause. Maybe you can do tricep. Maybe the knee doesn't quite touch yet. That's okay. Keep holding. And then bring the knee to the nose. Drop the head. Hold here for 3, 2. Flex the foot. Step it up. Back knee down on 1. Both arms lift to the sky. Low lunge. Take a big, huge breath in here. Exhale. Flare the elbows. Lift your chest. Inhale. Hands up. Exhale, release down, lizard pose. So again, forearms, great. If you need palms, that's great too. I'm going to go down to the forearms and then draw my knee back towards my body. So I really feel that working in the hip. Yeah, left side's usually a little more tough. So send the breath where you feel the pose. And then slowly start to come back on your palms. If you were on your forearms, pause in plank pose. From here, drift forward so shoulders just past the wrists. Bend the elbows halfway, chaturanga. Pause. Tuck your hips towards your low ribs. Long spine. Hold. Inhale. Upward facing dog. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Okay, guys, from here, let's come high on our toes. Big bend in the knees, kind of like we're pouncing. And then step or jump top of the mat. Feet together, and as you inhale, hands to shins, long spine. Exhale, fold it all down. One big breath rises you all the way up to the sky. And as you exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, favorite part, chair pose. Butt low, arms high. As they sweep, it's like your fingertips want to reach the ceiling. So can you bring them a little higher, but sit back a little deeper? And do that action again. Fingertips higher, sit back deeper. Check in on the tail, right? Tail towards the ground, belly in. Gonna feel this in the low glute. Now from here, heel toe the feet open. So we're going from closed leg to open kneed chair pose. A little bit more work now. The inner thigh muscles gonna wanna spin down. Knees track over the middle two toes. Feel all of that weight in the right foot. Slowly float the left foot up just an inch. Don't lose the depth in your chair. Don't lose the space between the knees. Then from here, hands to heart center, press all the way up to standing Tadasana. From here, shoot that left leg back. Big bend in the right knee. Touch left toes down, Crescent Pose. All right, so a little bit going on in that low right glute. Keep that work. Keep pinning right hip in, left hip forward. And then from here, right hand's gonna sweep down and back. Open your chest. And then as you inhale, left hand comes to the sky. Big stretch up. If anything, drop deeper into the right heel. Work left glute. Stretch a little taller, one more breath in. On the exhale, left hand comes down, right hand to the sky. Spin onto the side of the left foot and step it back, side plank. Right, so if you need a modification, that bottom knee can always drop. But if you are in full side plank, find that stacking of shoulders and wrists, stretch up tall, one breath in. On the exhale, now listen carefully, right forearm comes down, spin onto the side of the right toes, left hand to the sky. So we're going from full plank or side plank to forearm plank, but it's the same action of lifting up, big spacious breath. And then on the exhale, forearms down, forearm plank. Now tuck your hips towards your low ribs. It's like the core gets super, super short. And then from here, lift your left foot an inch and put your left toes on your right heel, right? So they're stacked. We are just on our right toes. Press down with the forearms. Take a ton of breaths. And maybe the spine even gets longer. Maybe we even get a little stronger. That place where you're like, oh my God, I'm about to give up. I can't do this. Then just do it instead. Literally, what I do is thought replacement. I'm like, oh my God, I can't. Whenever I hear can't, I immediately tell myself, okay, that's a lie. You can. In like every situation. It's kind of like a muscle. Eventually, it just starts to become a habit. Okay, let's switch. Left toes down, right toes on top. Right, and so here's where we start to shake a little bit. Keep drawing that belly in and up. Keep drawing your heart forward. Last 3 cycles of breath. Keep it strong. Softening the jaw, softening the forehead. Last inhale. On the exhale, both toes down. Drop the hips down, Sphinx pose. Walking the forearms forward, maybe even opening them just a little bit. Energetically working them towards the opposite sides of your mat. As you take a deep inhale, pull that heart through the gate of your shoulders. Moment of relief, but then it's over. So bring your hands back to the floating ribs, tuck the toes, press up, and go back to your downward facing dog. Good, now from here, high on toes, bend in knees, come to the top of your mat. Inhale, find your length. Exhale, fold. From this fold, wide feet, hip width distance, chair pose. Good, so same action, we've been here before. Can you drop more weight down into the heels? Let the low glutes turn on. Right, and then we know where we're going, so don't doubt yourself. Do not second guess yourself, just hug the right knee in, float it off the mat. Knees still nice and wide. A little bit of balance, a little tricky, but you can do this. Hands to heart center, come up to standing, one knee into the chest. Take a big inhale, find your focus, and then slowly Big bend in left knee. Send that right foot back. Touch it down, crescent pose. Right, it's always in those transitions where we start to doubt ourselves a little bit. So again, when you feel that doubt bubble up, kill it. Okay, left hand down and back, find that open twist. So now the left hip wants to pull in. I'm gonna squeeze that right glute just a little bit and then tip it all the way up and back. So that left hand can crawl. I would say keep it to the right thigh. If you're super bendy, you might crawl to the shin. That's cool too. One more breath in. On the exhale, right hand down, left hand to the sky for that twist. And then the left foot steps back, side plank. So use that outer hip, right outer hip. Press it up to the sky so both hips lift. Flex the toes, one more breath in. And then left hand comes down to the forearm. Spin onto the side of the left toes. Tricky transition, right hand to the sky. Now again, weight into the elbow. Press down, lift up with the right hand. One more breath. Good, and then both forearms down. This time, walk your toes in from dolphin, or from forearm plank to dolphin pose. So shoulders stack right over your wrists. Hips pull up so high. A little more glute work. Let's bring the left foot to the sky. Flex the foot, toes down towards the ground, and square your hips. All right, so nothing crazy going on here. We're just gonna hold. And then can you find so much stillness? Right, eyes closed, breath fluid. And then a smooth transition. Foot floats down, right foot floats to the sky. And maybe for a little extra, come up onto the left toes, right? Give yourself a little more lift. Keep squaring the right hip. 3, 2. Slowly, foot down on 1. Widen the feet, and then one by one, press into the palms. From dog, walk yourself back. Find a forward fold at the back of the mat. And then let's interlace the hands at the low back. As you breathe in, find a lot of length. Come up halfway. And then as you exhale, dive chest down, lift knuckles really high. Find a little shoulder stretch. Find a stretch for the back of your legs as you drop weight forward. You're gonna feel the hammies start to turn on. Can you breathe into that place? Nice, and then slowly release. Hands to the ground, slowly roll up to standing, one vertebra at a time. Okay, so from here, come to the top of your mat. I'm gonna come to the center, but keep your feet about hip width distance. Back to that chair pose again. So I like the wide-kneed chair pose because it forces you to pay attention to your legs. So find that, and then I want you to come up onto your tippy toes. Come up onto your tippy toes. From here, a lot of strength in the legs. Can you find some pulses? Right, light pulses. Doing your best to keep the ankles stable. Really tricky stuff. But again, you can do this, and guess what? If you fall out, who cares? Get back in. It's totally fine. Last 3, 2, 1. Hold your depth on 1. From here, hands sweep down to the ground. I'll go sideways to show you. And then they lift up behind you. So we're in diver's pose, wide knees, hips high, head low, heels high. We still got that bend. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Now listen, heels down on 1. Heel toe the feet even wider so that you can snuggle your chest into the inner thighs. Then extend your hands forward like they're an offshoot of your spine, offshoot of your shoulders. So we're in bear pose. Another way of thinking about this is like your legs are a bear trap and your torso is a bear or bear claw. So hug your inner thighs into the side ribs, keep your spine long, and pull your fingertips forward. Don't forget about the glutes. Drive into the heels, lift the butt. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Come all the way down to Malasana. Butt drops, and now the toes angle outward. So weight comes into the heels, hands come to heart center. Take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, really settle into the pose. But sometimes we kind of default to one place. We settle into like our deepest malasana. So as you settle, still engage the body, still drive into the heels and lift up just a 1/4 of an inch, right? Make it active. Outer hips turn on, low glutes turn on. Take a big breath in, come up another inch. Right, here's where it gets a little funky. Big breath in, lower, in, up, breath, lower, right? So it's very subtle. You might not even see yourself or your neighbor moving, but you're gonna feel it. Baby, baby, baby activations. Up and down. So it's like pulses, right? But really using the heels, using the hips, finding that place where you're gonna do some work. Last 3, 2, 1. And then from here, heels down, hips down. Release the arms forward, inside of the legs, and come up onto your fingertips. So you get to kind of stretch the spine. And I would press your fingertips away from you so you can peel the shoulder blades a little bit more open. You'll feel the skin on your back body stretch. Feels super nice. Good. And then slowly walk your hands back. Heel toe your feet together and come to the top of your mat. So from here, find an inhale, lengthen out halfway. And as you exhale, find a vinyasa just to clear the slate and set ourselves back up for one last little standing series. So let's bring your right foot to the sky, big breath in. And as you exhale, step it forward, come into a warrior 2. Right, immediately straighten that leg. And then hinge at the hips. Reach forward until you can't reach anymore. Triangle pose. So in the same way that we felt for our heels in Malasana, that yogi squat, feel for your heels here too. Right heel presses down, outer corner of that left foot especially, seals into the mat. Then can you energetically draw them towards each other? Right, so it strengthens the inner legs. Take just one more breath in. Good. Now, as you exhale, left hand comes down. Bend into the right knee, right hand to the sky. It's a little twist. Good. As you exhale, right hand down, left foot comes to the sky, standing splits. Little transition. Can you lift that foot high as the head, the body drops low? Then as you exhale, listen carefully, left knee behind right knee, squat. Good. Now in this squat, we're not going to move. Just going to hug that heel towards your body. Lengthen your spine. And maybe hands to heart center. We find just a moment of balance, releasing any gripping in the toes. Good. And then slowly send that leg back, hands down. Step the foot back and your vinyasa. And then we do it on the other side. Left foot lifts, inhale. Exhale, warrior 2. Again, just as a transition, straighten that leg, move into triangle pose. Right, so settle here. Feeling for, again, not the triangle in between our legs, but the triangle between elbow, hip, armpit. Can you pull the side body, that place between left hip and left armpit longer? Send that hand super high to the sky. One more breath in. And then as you exhale, right hand down, spin onto right toes, left hand up, little twist. Exhale, both hands down. And as you're ready, launch that right foot up, standing splits. So again, guys, hip square. It's okay if the hip comes, or the foot is a little bit lower when you square the hip. That is better. That will set yourself up more safely than getting your foot super high for the heck of it, and then the hip opens. So find that squared action. And then from here, right knee behind left knee, we squat low and we just pause. Work that low glute. Drop weight into the heel of the left foot. Then squeeze right heel towards your butt. Maybe find that moment or two of balance, hands to heart center. Nice. And then hands down, step the foot back. And rather than a vinyasa, just press the left foot straight. You'll hop the right foot in, modified pyramid pose. So the right heel might still be a little lifted from the mat. That's okay. Just find a breath in, lengthen the spine. And as you breathe out, fold over the leg. So a really nice stretch the entire back of the left leg. Good. And then slowly start to crawl yourself through the center of your mat. When you get here, heels in, toes out, or toes in, heels out. So pigeon toe. Left hand right on the ground underneath your face and draw your right hand up and open. Might even circle the wrist a little bit, should feel nice. Exhale, release. Inhale, left hand up. And same thing, maybe fist, firework, little circular action, and then go ahead, release that. And simply crawl yourself towards the right foot now. Toes pivot towards that side of your mat and hop the left foot in. So we square the hips, find your inhale, lengthen your spine. And then as you exhale, hinge, dive, fold into that leg. You're gonna feel that from the calf muscle up through the hamstring to sort of the seat of your low glute. And take one more breath. Nice. And then slowly, slowly crawl yourself back towards your left foot, right? So coming back to the front of your mat. And then from here, just step yourself back, downward facing dog. So last little bit, nothing fancy. High on toes, bend in the knees. And then slowly jump to a seat. Okay, so I think we're gonna do two of my favorite / least favorite things to do because I love them, but I hate them while they're happening. So you know they're gonna be fun. We're gonna need a block for this. Now, if you do not have a block, totally cool, can be done without one, or just get something that's like, I don't know, 3-4 inches and just step on that. Because that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the block and step on it with our right foot. So from our backs, like we're setting up for a bridge pose. And you'll still do that same action, right, of kind of wiggling your fingertips towards your heels so that you feel you're nice and close. And then press up so that the hips lift to the sky, bridge pose. Just right foot is on the block. And you'll sort of nestle the meat of your shoulders underneath. And then from here, lift the right foot to the sky. Right, so this is where it kind of gets like, you love it, but you hate it because we're gonna lift our hips even higher, almost like a string is attached to our left big toe and pulls us up. And then slowly lower the hips down and lift them back up. 4 more times, lower and lift, lower and lift. Last 2. So every time you get to that lift, you're really squeezing the low glute. Last one, and that left leg is straight. Now, from this last one, couple pulses up. So like, in other words, almost Jane Fonda like hip thrusts. For 3, not too long, 2, 1. Slowly lower that foot, lower the hips, and then squeeze that block, send it to the left foot. Same other side, left foot on the block. And then you get yourself set up. Good, and then go ahead, lift the hips up. I might need to fix my block a little bit. There we go. Yeah, and then lift the right leg to the sky. Yep, so push the hips high, right? Like so high that you immediately feel it working. Because when I go here, I'm like, yeah, this is sustainable. I can do this. But the challenge is higher. Yes, so once you get there, again, it's those lowers and lifts, lower and lift. We have 3 more from here. Not losing momentum, not losing any power. So this is actually where I start to sweat the most because this takes a lot of strength, right? Okay, now after this last one, hold at the top and find a couple of those pulses up. That right leg as straight as it possibly can. Last 3, 2, 1. Slowly settle it down. Slowly, slowly. Hug the knees into the chest. Okay. Now, last little thing. This is kind of weird, but I like it. So Roll to your right side, kind of like you were setting up to be on a beach, right? So the head is cradled in the right hand. Left hand can come like kind of in front of your belly button. Then I want you to take your left foot and step it in front of your knee. So the toes will face perpendicular from your mat, right? Ground really deeply into the outer corner of the right foot. So the foot is flexed. From here, using pressure points of your left hand, your left heel, and your right outer corner of your foot, lift your hips up, right? If you're like, what is this? Keep lifting them higher. It's a lot of work in the outer hip. Hug your belly in the whole time. Holds for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, set it down. So the first time I did this, I was like, are my hips even moving? That's totally normal. We're going to do it again. We're going to add a little bit more if that was too easy. Okay, so take a deep breath in. Exhale, everything lifts. And maybe you remove that pressure point of your hand. You can settle your the side of your right head down and then interlace the hands above the head. So then it really becomes about the outer right hip and a lot of a lot of oblique work. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. Okay. Slowly, we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. So you will roll over onto your stomach. I'm going to make sure I still face you so I can demo. And then left hand, left head, left side of the head. So the other thing I didn't mention before is make sure you're super, super stacked here. Like hips in one line, that top hip not opening a little bit or falling to the side. Full line. Right toes stack in front of the knee, point towards you. Knee points towards sky. Left outer corner of the foot so deeply down into the mat. And again, maybe the hand to the hip, maybe the hand to the ground. Start with the hand to the ground. Yeah? Lift the hips up. Now, if you're lifting, are you leaning more in one direction or another? Can you keep yourself stacked for 3, 2, 1. And then I'm going to lay my head down and lift my right arm, interlace the hands, kind of have this like shooting up action. And again, we say stacked on the left side body. Take an inhale. Exhale, drive into the heels, lift the hips. Good. Hold here. Maybe the hips come higher for 3, 2. Yeah, it's not so bad, right? 1, settle the hips down, roll onto your stomach, and then just find a way to press yourself up to a comfortable seat, right? Doesn't have to be super pretty. Last little thing, just want to stretch out the back. Come into almost like a little hug, right? So the feet are open, knees are open. Wrap your forearms around the knees and then drop your forehead to your kneecaps. I want you to really pull the center of your back out behind you. So there's this deep C shape happening. And then take a couple of breaths here. Really stretch out the back. Good. And then find your next inhale. Find a lot of length in the spine. We'll just move through that 2 or 3 more times. Exhale, that C shape. Inhale, lifting up. So it's like restorative to active, right? A little restorative. Big inhale, active, present. Last one. Exhale, round and drop the head. Nice and easy. Inhale, long spine, get a little taller. And then the last thing, release the feet down, come into Sukhasana. So crisscross, take one last inhale, arms stretch up and out overhead. Get super, super tall, and on your exhale, slowly pull hands through heart center. Sealing your practice, and if the eyes are open, just allow them to close for one last moment. Give yourself a little bit of space to appreciate not just your ability to show up on the mat, but your ability to show up for maybe something other than just your physical self, right? How you feel, your emotional self. And the challenge really when you get off the mat is to maintain that commitment. So that is my ask of you guys. Can you maintain that not just mind-body, but mind-body-soul connection, the energetics of the practice, not just the physical. Okay, so we take one last big, big, big inhale together. And take a bow as you breathe it all out. And that is it. Namaste, you guys. Again, my name is Amanda. If you have any questions, you can find me on the internet here at Icewater Yoga, and I hope to see you soon.